Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 3 with Black Ice 9.11. And, of course, we're playing as Germany, and there's the Hitler counter. Yes. Okay, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to see you around here more often. Okay, we're going to continue here with Henel. Okay, the company CG Henel Waffen und Fabrik is developing a Maschinenkarabiner for the Heereswaffenamt. The famous designer Hugo Schmeitzer led the Henel development team, which produced the first working prototypes of the new weapon by 1942. In accordance with the specifications, the new weapon inherited several features from the MP40 submachine gun, such as the left side charging handle with a slot safety and magazine housing with a button release, because the new weapon had to be made with a maximum usage of stamping and welding as opposed to machining. I'm adding that in there. Henel was joined by the Marzwerk, a company with no knowledge in firearms but a great deal of experience in steel stamping and forming. The MKB.42H was a gas-operated selective fire, meaning both full auto and single shot. I know many of you know, but not everyone. It uses a long-stroke gas piston located above the barrel. And yeah, the top thing is not the barrel. The barrel is the bottom one on this gun. Barrel locking achieved. I don't know. Fires from an open bolt. Right. Okay, so this is not the MP 44 or the Sturmgewehr 43, 44 that comes sort of later with various models. These are pre-built models. These are earlier type. So these are all the Henel. This is the H. So we can support development or not. We're going to do that. And we get a little bit of gain in assault rifles, which we can't properly research yet because we are waiting for... what are we waiting for here? Access, one of the following must be released July 40. We have that. July... small arms must be at least 6. So we are now researching, or we are not researching, I don't think, but we can be researching small arms to get to 6. So we have to do that first. So this is just early development. Remember, it was well pre-war that they developed the cartridge. Just the cartridge, not the gun itself. There is a difference. You come down there, just occupy that. You come down to help these guys. Okay, oh, we need to massively increase our supply production. We're way low. Way low. All those events that happened last episode. Because we don't want to be that low. Gonna cut into our production of things, but oh well. Okay, we won that battle. Okay, jungle unit training. Well, we're not in the jungles yet, but it's good to get the jungle unit training. That would be here, I believe. Yes, and we're going to let that continue. So that when we get to the jungles, we'll be able to do it. Okay, Paris protocols. Let's see. I don't think we've seen this before. On May 11, 1941, Darlan met. That's Admiral Darlan. met Hitler at his mountain retreat in Berchtesgaden. Hitler told Darlan, while Germany was certain to win the war, it was to France's advantage to collaborate with the Reich. Hitler made a tit-for-tat proposal. Any concession or assistance made by France would be matched by an equal level of Germany. As a result, was the Protocols of Paris. In it, Vichy made concessions that allowed Germany military use of facilities in the colonies of Syria, airfields, Tunisia, the port of Baritza to supply Rommel's Africa Corps, Senegal, submarine facilities at Dakar. In return, Germany would repatriate 6,800 skilled French workers in POW camps, reduce occupation costs from 20 million Reichsmarks to 15 million Reichsmarks, and ease travel restrictions between the occupied and unoccupied zones. Paris Protocols are considered the high point of Vichy collaboration with the Nazis, but Darlan wanted still better terms. Ultimately, the protocols lapsed. Okay, so well, we've already got them in the Axis, so we can occupy their territory. But anyways, but we'll grant Reich military access. Lose 1,000 money, gain manpower, Vichy, and money, and okay. Yeah, the only thing, revolverheld, if you're watching this, is I give the players a choice to say no. Right now I have plenty of money, but like I say, I've already got them into the Axis. If for some reason I didn't want them to gain the manpower or the money or something like that, or I wanted to save it, I could say no to this. And if nothing else, even if it's a really good deal for Germany, as is, at least to be able to say, at least give the players a sense of control over their destiny, because this is a German-French interaction, as opposed to maybe this thing, I haven't even read it yet, is conflict between my allies, not maybe allies of each other so much. So I don't know whether Germany should get a say in what is happening here now. But that other thing, since it was German Vichy, it should have some sort of say. And I definitely agree that you shouldn't give away the farm, meaning some super good stuff for Germany, just because the players are always going to choose it, and the French might say no. But you could at least give the feeling, or some feeling of choice, to be able to say no. Okay. Hungarian-Romanian enmity deepens. Now, of course, we already have, and I guess we should probably read this first, but the conflict over territory snatched away from Hungary and given to, snatched away from Romania and given to Hungary. Okay. Although the Second Vienna Award was packaged to calm down the traditional territorial disputes between Hungary and Romania, and for that matter, arbitrated by Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy, tensions between both Axis partners were prevalent throughout 1940 and 41, continued in 41. Sorry, the conflict motivated both countries seeking to realize their national interests, with the more powerful Axis overlords of either Fascist Italy or the German Reich. Whereas Hungary was reluctant to commit greater portions of its armed forces for Operation Barbarossa in order to keep a significant number of troops ready to go to war against Romania if needed, Romania chose to concentrate on an even greater contribution to Barbarossa than any other Axis minor ally already in 1941. This would be paid back by Hitler after the successful conclusions of the campaign against the Soviet Union. Hitler promised falsely to compensate Romania's territorial losses in the Second Vienna War with lands in southern Russia and Crimea. Okay. Okay, so their relations are going down. They're gaining some dissent. And, okay. Yes, Hitler was not going to give the great bulk of the Ukraine to Romania, and I don't think they would have given any of Crimea to Romania. I fully believe that they would have re-gotten their lost territories from the Soviet Union, and this Transymia, or I forget how to pronounce it, would have gone, which did for a while, for a while, go to Romania. Would it have stayed that way in a post? Would Germany have tried to take it back? I don't know. I sort of doubt it. I don't think Hitler's worried about the area between these two rivers. Let Romania have it. Well, you have the greater bulk of the land, and of course, you know, you got all of this lovely coastline here for the Nazis to colonize into. So it would not have been nearly what, you know, if they were saying it was going to be out in here and down in here. I agree, it was a false claim. Now, I've been asked about what I'm going to be doing with Saudi Arabia. I'm hoping to, we are influencing them here currently, hoping to get them towards the axis, so they are moving towards us with a value of 21. Invite to factions, 67 now, and we need it below 15. Now, even though it's very close down here, part of the reason I believe it's high in the negative, or, you know, it's high, is that there's a lot of British and other allies down here still going on. But yeah, I guess it could invade to puppet it, but I'm trying to do diplomacy first. I am planning on getting Yemen and Oman, which are allied to the, or member of the Allies, and then taking out Aden and what is today UAE and etc. current British possessions. So, but by stripping away British controlled territory here, I'm hoping, and putting more German controlled border on them, hoping to move them towards us. Oh yes, you may have metal. And mentioning diplomacy on Iran, or, well, yeah, or Iraq. Okay, now they're at 38, so they're closer, much closer than that. And these guys are at 29, so that's even closer. German-Spanish trade agreement of 1941. Despite lacking cash, oil, and other resources, Francis? Okay. That's not a word. Revolverheld. I presume this is revolverheld. I don't know if that's supposed to be Franco's Spain or fascist Spain. They weren't a fascist country. One, they did have a phalangist party, which is a type of fascism, but that wasn't in power. They held the foreign ministry and maybe another ministry or two, but it was nationalist Spain or Franco's Spain. But it looks like it's a mix of the word Franco and fascist. Francis. Well, maybe there's Francism. People who just believe in Franco, I guess. I don't know. Spain was able to supply some of the essential materials to Germany. The principal resource was tungsten ore from the German-owned mines in Spain. Tungsten was essential for Germany for its advanced precision engineering and therefore for armament production, despite Allied attempts to buy all available supplies, which rocketed in price, and diplomatic efforts to influence Spain. Spain continued to trade rare materials and other goods with Germany until August 1944. That's when the border gets cut off, basically, from the Allied invasion. Payments for tungsten was effectively set against Spanish debt to Germany. Other minerals included iron ore, zinc, lead, mercury. Spain also acted as a conduit for goods from South America, for example, industrial diamonds and platinum. I've always wondered about that, because that precisely is why I would keep Spain out of the war. It's just, I don't know how effectively, and a good way for Spain to make some money, you know, at least to make off a percentage of what's sold into Germany, is to trade with Latin America, because there is a lot of resources down there that Latin America has, including things like rubber that Germany needs. But the British were willing to, and I think the Americans later, willing to stop supplies of war materials that they believed were going to Germany and just being transshipped through Spain. But industrial diamonds, that can be very small, you know, as in scale. And platinum can also be, you know, easily smuggled. In the sense that, you know, the captain of the ship knows it's there, but with Allied search teams, or it's not on the cargo manifest or something like that, can easily be brought in. In 1941, the Reich managed to buy all the tungsten which was available on the Spanish market. Now, the British, in both Spain and Portugal, but I think mainly in Portugal for the British set out a program to buy all the tungsten that they could. And they, particularly I think with Portugal, but also with Spain, got an agreement, and with both the miner, you know, the mining companies and the governments, that they were going to buy all the stuff, and who cares if it gets piled in a big pile over on the right or wherever, you know, just piling up the stuff. We're buying it. It's ours. We're going to ship it out someday. We don't have the ships now, but we're buying it. And the British just bought as much as they could, and be damned the price, to keep it out of German hands. And they were buying as much as they could, and they sort of put it under lock and key, and monitor it to make sure it wasn't also being sold to the Germans or whatever else. Now, I own a pistol, an Astra, 800, 900, God, I forget the model number, that was made for Germany, but has no German markings on it. I say that because of the date in production, and it was sort of more towards that 1944. They were making weapons for Germany, including pistols. There are a bunch of Astra pistols. This is not the Mauser broom handle type Astra, you know, copy. This is one of the more classic Astra designs. Germany desperately needed guns of any type. They wanted any gun they could get their hands on. Pistols, they wanted every pistol they could get their hands on. Hey, you got all those people around, you need pistols for them. And but also rifles, machine guns, whatever they get their hands on. So they specifically made it 9mm Parabellum as opposed to 9mm Largo, which was sort of the favored Spanish caliber of 9mm, unless you're going something short, like a 9mm Kurtz or something. Which in America we know is 380. But so that they were producing these guns in the thousands for Germany, being shipped across the border wherever, as well as other types of stuff. And you do find a bunch of these Spanish-made Astras. And I mean, we know they're Spanish-made Astras because it was only made by the gun type. It wasn't like the Mauser broom handle or some of the other types. I don't know if they did too many rubies. Rubies are the ruby type of pistol. There's a bunch of manufacturers for them, not just ruby. They were heavily used in World War I by the French as sort of trench pistols. You know, close-in trench fighting pistol things, semi-automatics. But the Astras, you know, were only made by Astra and only made in Spain. You can find in the collector's market a bunch with German Waffenamp markings on them, so we know the Germans had a bunch of them. So I got one without any German markings. Very nice example of it. But so it was basically made in the time period for Germany, but didn't get shipped. But so they were also directly sending war supplies, munitions or weapons to Germany during the war. So they were also doing that, which is not covered in here. So I know that. I've seen physical evidence of that. Now, again, a lot of that was mildly covert, meaning, yeah, you know, only Spain's making the Astra models. They may not have a lot of other markings other than the German markings on them. Spain also made Mauser type rifles. I don't know how many. I just don't know. That may have ended up in German hands, but I suspect more than we think, because the Spanish weren't telegraphing. Okay, metal supplies, lose a bunch of money. Okay, Axis convoys to North Africa. Okay, again, I think that needs revolverheld. That needs to be reevaluated. particularly if Germany is owning Greece, Crete, Cyprus, and Alexandria, and all of these other ports. Maybe a little less here, but once you get this, the Malta submarines. I'm actually reading right as I'm actually listening to it. Not right at this moment, but I am partway through a book that's dealing with a historical fiction that is basically, the submarine that they're on is fictitious, name, but they're doing a mix of all historical different types of action. Meaning one part of it, they were going along part of the Italian coast from the submarine at night, shelling the railways and blowing them up. And that the British did. Meaning all the actions that they're doing did happen at one time or another, not maybe all to the same submarine or anything like that, but they were all actions that were very historical, very much what was happening then. We know that. So learning a bit about that. So and you're absolutely right, Revolverheld, still talking to you, that should play a big role while you're moving supplies to these ports, Tobruk, and as well as they were moving convoy supplies along the coast, and the submarines were hitting them as they were, at some point along moving the stuff along the coast here. Not just coming straight across, but once you're getting over here, submarines will still be a factor, I'll grant you, but it is a minor factor. At least that's what I'm going with. Okay, well, you guys can you go down here? No. But you can come here. So keep pushing on these doomed British forces. Okay. Oh, cool. Didn't know we were also going to get this. This is, of course, an effect from the agreement. So we're getting +5 rare materials. Great. Energy down. That's fine. Supplies. Okay. I mean, energy's up. We're off the charts on this, but so good. Like that. Okay, Lair Brigade. I think we've already seen this event before in an earlier version. Is that in our production queue? It is. I want to get it. Yep, up to the top. We got a lot of good units coming, including some occupation forces that I need. We're not building because we're building all of these other things. Well, good, we got that now. 14th Panzer Division, good. And Hungary. Yes, you may have energy, Hungary. Okay, we got these guys here. Okay, Black Eyes replenishment target. Oh, that's this thing. I am getting a little annoyed at this, though. I did choose to have it there. Okay, German customers. Cafe Rene must serve German occupiers. Oh, Rene must serve German occupiers to keep his business open. He is quite popular with the Germans, and most of the town still visits his cafe. He serves good wine, good food, and bad music performed by his wife, Edith. And that's, of course, Rene and the Germans there. Klopp. If you've watched it, you'll get that joke. Support our allies, Croatia. Okay, we had this before in an earlier episode. I think one that did make it through. Goes back to foreign aid and air bases. That gives an air base here to Zagreb, so they can have some aircraft of their own and have them in their own territory if they wish. Okay, how long until you can attack? 6 hours. Okay, you're going to port attack. You can come down too, I know where. You're hanging out there. You got beat up a bit, did you, by the nasty, evil British? Now we are having some of these guys coming down here, so let's send these guys up here. Don't think we're in too much danger of bumping into a major British fleet because we no longer have a major British port in this area. Over here, yes, so they could still be around, possibly, but I think it's getting a lot less likely. Okay, SS Panzer Grenadier HQs have advanced. Very good. We're going to let that one go. Okay. And Lieutenant Gruber. Lieutenant Gruber is sent to Louvain with reinforcements of his little tanks. He fancies Rene, who is clearly the sexiest man in all of France. And there's, of course, Gruber and his little tanks. That is a mock-up. That is not a real, what is that? I forget the number, 222 or something. But nice mock-up, actually. So, yep. Did this work? This is what I'm playing to test because I don't get... Okay, this worked great. So now we have Lieutenant Gruber with a little tank unit that isn't very good. So, you know, it works, but it's not even set up onto the... So I made this to be highly compatible so it doesn't attach to the different doctrines and upgrades and whatever. So it's just a unit. So I didn't want to be rebuilding the mod every time there was a new version of Black Ice or they changed things and whatnot, and it was too much. So it's meant for compatibility, and it's also meant to freely give you a reconnaissance unit that is, you know, not terribly strong, so that it's not unbalancing the game. It's supposed to be his little tank, but tanks. Airborne assault tactics have advanced. Okay, that I believe is down here. Okay. Let's shift this to somewhere else here. I want to do that. And continue to readjust. We are trying to build up our supplies. I don't think we... Oh, we can go there, so we want to take that out. We'll go down here. No. Yeah. Okay. These guys fast and hard. They're doomed, but we're taking them down. Most of these were given by a big spawning event of... Oh, you can support for the attack. Okay, submarine hulls have advanced. Very good. So that is grayed out. Now that will allow us to improve. I like this, but I just don't like the visibility thing. I'm more worried about that than the air defense. Okay, submarine batteries. Yeah, we'll switch to that. Okay, Norge SS. The rivalry between Terboven and Quisling, which I've talked about earlier, continued over the nature of Norway's future. Should be an apostrophe S, I guess, there. Quisling, a strong nationalist, wanted Norway to be an independent nation after the war. And in mid-1941, Terboven and the Minister of Police, Johannes Lai, that's this guy, Lai, gotta love some of these names, got together and set about formation of a Norwegian political SS contingent behind Quisling's back. On May 1st, May 21st, 1941, or 41. Some of these times I'm contracting some of this just because I'm wanting to keep the text from going too long. Sometimes I should have apostrophe S. I need an editor. A Norwegian political SS formation was established and called Norway's SS, Norges SS. On that day, Reichsführer SS, not Reichsführer, but Reichsführer SS, meaning he's the leader of the SS, Heinrich Himmler, flew into Oslo, where he was met by Reichskommissar Terboven, a disgruntled Quisling. That's him there. And that's Himmler. And a number of senior SS and Wehrmacht officers. That's them sort of in the background. That I think is Falkenhurst, the Wehrmacht. There, I think that's Lai, maybe there. That's Terboven sort of sitting slouched down with the hat on his lap. But that's this meeting we're talking about. Written photo from it. Okay, and a number of senior SS and Wehrmacht officers then taken to the National Assembling's party's house. The ceremony opened with a speech by the Reichsguard's chief of staff, Ovar Schether, who spoke to his former herdmen that had volunteered to be the first aspirants of the new Norwegian SS. Okay, so we are expanding this now. Sort of the downside is just sort of a little bit of a hold just a second here. A little bit of a oh, come on. Reorganization. That didn't disappear as way I should have. Okay. Okay, because this should be the higher SS police Nord here. There's Wetzel. Let's wait for Day to see if this goes away. No, it doesn't. That first... Did I attach that, or somehow that's attached there? It doesn't look like anything I would do. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, so it removes some stuff, but not that. So let's disband unit. That unit's disbanded. And now here, under Redis, there we go here, and then we have Lie down here with an HQ. And he's now attached to this. Okay. Not quite sure exactly what happened there. Okay, don't know about this. This is something new. Sinking of Robin Moore. On May 1941, the Robin Moore was carrying 9 officers, 29 crewmen, 8 passengers, and a commercial cargo from New York to Mozambique via South Africa without a protective convoy. The ship held items of every conceivable description, including over 100 or 450 autos and trucks, steel rails and tools. So that is a big ship, if that you got 450 trucks and autos. Steel, rails, tools, agricultural, chemicals, over 48,000 U.S. gallons of lubricants in drums, cases of shotgun shells, and a few 22 caliber rifles destined for sporting goods stores. On May 21st, the ship was stopped by German submarine U-69 in the tropical Atlantic, 750 miles west of British-controlled port of Freetown, Sierra Leone. After a brief period, the ship's crew and passengers, after a brief period for the ship's crew's passengers to board her 4 lifeboats, the U-boat fired a torpedo at her rudder and then shelled the vacated ship at the bridge. As a reaction, the U.S. government froze assets on the 12th of June, and then on the 14th of June, the State Department required Germany and Italy to close all of their consulates in Germany except for their embassies, prompting Germany to issue the same directive to the United States. In return, the U.S. demanded reparations from Germany without success. Yeah, just a note to the world out there. Not that the world is really paying attention to me or this, but that is very much the thing that is going to get the U.S. government very, very mad at you. You've got a ship that is not heading towards Britain. This is off Sierra Leone, which is here. And there's Freetown. But a ship that's moving here, that's going to Mozambique, which is a neutral country. So going from one neutral country to another neutral country. And this is the correct picture of it at the time. Big USA and a big flag painted on the side. That sort of goes, hey, yeah, you know, you're not going to Britain. You're not a British ship. You don't get to sink us. And you know, if you want America to come to war against you, you do this. Otherwise, you leave the American shipping the hell alone. Okay, and you know, again, like I'm saying this to the world, China, Iran, whatever nation out there, you don't mess with American shipping or you will get America very upset with you. That is, we, the U.S., believe in freedom of the seas. Now, of course, once you go to war with us, we're already pissed at you, so you sinking a few of our extra ships, it doesn't really matter. But if you don't want to go to war with us, and Hitler really did not want to go to war with us ever, yeah, and of course he declares war against the U.S., but that's only after, you know, Pearl Harbor, but doesn't really want to go to war with us, believes a war is coming with the U.S., but wants to delay it as long as possible. I don't know why there wasn't a stronger prohibition from the German Admiralty to its submariners to not do those kind of things. Because sure, they were nice and pleasant to the crew and didn't mean any harm to them, but that's just going to get America into the war. It's another thing that's like, oh, well, yeah, the ship might have, you know, be mistaken for British, that it's moving towards Ireland or some sort of thing like that. And that I get. I get all of, you know, and the U.S. would get that too. You know, that they still might piss America off and they might still go to war, but they at least get that. But if you've got stuff that's fairly well documented and you've boarded and inspected, if you wanted to, the ship, which I don't know that they gave them time to get in lifeboats. I don't know that they were allowed the Germans actually boarded the vessel, but especially allowing that to happen, you know. Okay, armored engineers, good. That is here, and it is a one and done. Okay, I'm just seeing here. The African Army and Indian Army recruitment. Those will become available to us once we hold certain provinces, which I intend to hold some down in here and maybe some in India. few of you were thinking that it would be a good idea to send some of the SA units down to fight in North Africa. Well, these units are very weak. Their strength is small. They're and they would upgrade if I allowed them to, but they're militia units. They're sort of cool looking militia units, but they're militia units, and these are weak militia units. So you really don't want them fighting anywhere. So it's a bad idea to send them anywhere to fight. And they're very slow because they're meant to be SA men, not troops with lots of logistical support services. And of course you can attach wagons or trucks, which will help the speed. It will, but they're still slow. And the cavalry are faster because they're cavalry. So those could, but still, even those you don't really want to fight anywhere. What you want to do with them is suppress revolts. So you can, or lower revolt risk. So you can send them places to. So that's what they're useful for. So if you wanted to send them, and you can beat up on the occasional outbreak of minor partisan activities, but they're not really good for, you don't want them fighting any real forces, and they're not that great on they're okay on suppression, but they're not that great to move around and deal with a large group of areas. What will be much better will be to get these African and Indian type units, and those colonial types. Those will be much nicer. Let's go with large fuel tank. Do we have any decisions we want to do? Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Let's see what this is. Okay, Vichy will get control. Will send Luftwaffe contingents. Okay, that's fine. We're not doing. This will initiate, or for operation. This will initiate Aufmarschung by Hefel for operation for Op Barbarossa. I would like a clearer description of. Does that mean launch Operation Barbarossa? I think that's a black ice thing. I think that is. But this is revolverhelds. Okay, send Luftwaffe contingents. Sonstab family, which is an officer. Fliegerführer Iraq was a unit of Luftwaffe Einstab family sent to Iraq in May 41 as part of the German mission to support the regime of Rashid Ali during the Anglo-Iraqi War. The mission was part of a larger effort to gain support in the Middle East for the Axis powers. According to the British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, the vigorous instructions provided by Hitler were belated and developed at a time when all of the chances for useful action of intervention had passed. Right. Okay. Yes, this didn't really produce anything that was that overly useful. That in Syria, is that where that? Okay, so this is a commando type unit here. Cool. Let's send these guys down here. Again, I think we're mostly safe. Does mostly safe mean safe? No, but it is a mostly kind of thing. Yeah. Okay, long-range submarines, which we haven't built any, but sort of want to research those things before you start building. Okay, large battery capacity. Ooh, that's nice. And thick pressure hull, so visibility. Presuming they're using that is greater depth going down. So we'll start with this. Battery capacity means you can stay down longer. Okay, medium warship radar. So we radar for cruisers. Stop that. Medium warship radar. We'll do that. That's also very good. And we have, okay, these are Vichy French units that are for Iraq. Not getting that because these are regular. Are these Rashid Ali's Vichy as opposed to these? Oh no, wait a minute. Well, no, these are, I guess these are. Okay, okay, so what this setup is a. This is interesting. Okay, so we have Muslim Brotherhood of Syria now. Okay. Didn't quite understand that before. Maybe I should have read the description a little more carefully. So this is no longer Vichy, because these Vichy units are going somewhere else. I can see that. And they've popped out at sea here. So what I'm guessing here, the intention is to have this Vichy here in the Axis, potentially at war, while this Vichy here is at peace, which we still have them, but they're still at peace, but they're not in the Axis at the moment. We do have British showing up here, so we're going to need to come down there. Interesting, 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 interesting. At least I'm guessing that's what's going on here. Okay, submarine engines have advanced. Which snorkel, that's also really good, but we're going to start with pressure hold just because pressure hold takes longer. So we're starting there. Not that you wouldn't necessarily want to get the quickest one fastest, but still, yes, you may have supplies. Okay, that's interesting. Now I know I did click this up here to do directive 30 or whatever it was, and which initiated it. And if I knew that, I could. I'm just talking about choice, not whether I would have chosen differently or something. But then forming this up here, but this is not. We're not getting very good looks into here, so this is no longer. Invite to faction. This is no longer in our faction, though. We have transit rights there. Okay, well, there's good and bad to this. Interesting. That's what I'm going to give it, because, like I say, it is good and bad. Attack pilot training, yay. Something that is just good. We'll move this to attack ground crew training, yay. Michelle of the Resistance. I will say this only once. Michelle of the Resistance, you will help us, or we will kill you for collaborating with the Nazis. This puts Renee in many dangerous situations with all the Germans in and around his cafe. That's Michelle of the Resistance. And her tagline, she comes out and always says, I will say this only once. And then people often go, what was that? I will say this only once. And she repeats it and whatnot. Okay, so we get Michelle of the Resistance. Just so you know who's going on here. Armenia no longer getting supplies there. We won that. No longer. Okay, we would give them supplies for money. Certainly, Mexico. Didn't know you'd still want to trade with us. But hey, that's good. And I think we'll take this opportunity to end the game, or the episode, not the game, but the episode here. I want to thank you all for watching. I want to thank you for liking the videos. I really do appreciate that. And of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Love to see you around more often, as well as post something, anything. Say hi, say goodbye, ask questions, comments, whatever. Love hearing from you. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron.